So here is my finished portfolio. This is a title page with my name and some major concepts of things that I believe in terms of my teaching style. Um, for example, we have self-discipline, responsibility. So page 2 here has an explanation of my control. I am medium high control, focused on Frederick Jones and Rudolf Dreikurs. That's how to say it. So Frederick Jones believed in a thing called preferred activity time, and in my own words, I like to explain that as work hard, play hard. He also believed in positive discipline, which is similar to what Rudolf believed, in that positive conversations about behavior and consequences is essential for students to learn self-discipline and responsibility. He also believed that all behavior has a purpose, and so in exploring that idea that students are trying to relay information in the way that they behave. And I believe both of these can be medium control but also high control, in terms of having control over the students and knowing what they're doing and having set procedures for them, but also allowing them to learn self-discipline and responsibility for it. Page 3, we have our democratic classroom handout. One thing I want to point out and look specifically at is student leadership. And I think this goes back to my idea with Frederick Jones and having positive discipline, but also knowing that if students work hard, they can play hard. And so there's leadership within the classroom, that students can take leadership within their own personal work, with their groups, and then within the classroom, there will be natural leaders that can help students learn how to self-regulate. I included a quote at the bottom that says, "Teach children what to think, and limit them to your ideas. Teach children how to think, and their ideas are unlimited." And I believe that really teaching them responsibility is the biggest thing, because they're going to be adults and contributors to society, and if they don't know how to think for themselves or self-regulate, then they won't be good contributors. So page 4 is motivation. One thing I want to point out with intrinsic motivation is always being positive and giving verbal praise to students. I think that will help them to understand what they're doing is correct and that they should keep doing those things, but also to correct their behavior if it is not correct. And one thing from extrinsic motivation is having table points or marbles or something like that, that can be earned as an individual. If individuals are working hard, they can earn that. Or if a table is working very hard, which I'll talk about later in my classroom map, how I will have them set up in tables. But also, as these are earned for tables, and the tables can earn preferred activity time, those will also be added to a class jar from each table, so that the class can earn preferred activity time or class parties, end of the year things that they can do because they had such a good year and they behaved well. Page 5 talks about rules and procedures. One thing I want to point out is the creation of rules. I believe that the students should be involved in that. I think if they know the reason behind the way that they should be acting, it will help them to perform better and behave better. And that comes back to there being a reason for all behavior, and then knowing what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. A way to have positive reinforcement is with the marbles or points per table, like I explained before. Page 6 is about prevention. I talk about building relationships, and one thing that's really important is to get to know students individually so that they know that they're loved and respected in the classroom. And this is important because when they feel loved, when they feel safe in the classroom, they will perform better academically and they'll also behave more responsibly and respectfully toward others. One procedure that I wrote about is the procedure of going to the bathroom. At the front door, I want to have a chart where each student has a pin or a magnet of some sort with their name or a symbol representing them. And if they leave the classroom, they'll put it into one of the categories, either office, bathroom, nurse, or other, letting the teacher know where they're at. And then as they leave, they'll have a hallway pass. I'll set up this procedure by first explaining it, then modeling how a student would do this, and then having students practice getting up, moving their magnet quietly and not disrupting the class if this takes place while the teacher is teaching. Page 7 talks about intervention. So one of the mild interventions I talk about is being bored or unengaged, and I feel as though that can simply be addressed by reminding students to stay on task and or giving them a task that will boost their interest. A medium behavior would be blurting out answers or comments in the middle of instruction when they shouldn't be talking. And this can be done with the classic teacher evil eye or proximity, as well as a warning of a verbal warning that they should not be doing that. And one of the more severe ones that I rated was being non-compliant with everything that the teacher says, and this is a hard thing to deal with when students are like this, but that is why we have discipline in place, and this will result in a note home or loss of recess or other fun and enjoyable things that the student likes. And if this continues to happen, I think it is important to have a teacher. Page 8 is my classroom map. So in this, I want to point out that in the front of the classroom, I will have a rug with spots for each student to be on. And that will be important for explicit instruction for the students as they're just listening. But then I want them to be able to work socially. I believe very much in social learning, and so I have the tables set up, I have the desks set up into tables so that they can work together. Another important aspect of my classroom map is the library in the back right corner of the classroom. I feel like this can be used for students to get away from their daily tasks and from maybe other students in the classroom if they just need a moment to be to themselves. They can use this area, as well as this area will include comfortable chairs, something like bean bags or pillows or something like that. This area can be used as a reward if students are doing well, that they will have the chance to go sit in these comfortable chairs. At the very end, I've included my narrative about my classroom map, as well as my philosophy paper, my motivation paper. I also have some notes from class that include processes for how to begin the year, as well as notes on how to have a successful democratic classroom and different options for penalties.